Yes guys, it's your boy here again, Henny TV, and welcome to another video. Well, in this video we're going to be talking about the one thing you need to add to your strategy in order for you to be consistently profitable in the market. So this is something that a lot of successful traders, even the big banks, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, etc., and of course retail traders who are making a lot of money and multi-millionaires from the market, this is one thing they do first before they even get into any trade. Well, if you're new to this channel, of course, please hit that subscribe button, and if you've got any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and hit the video also with a like. Without any further ado, let's get started in this video. So as a brand new trader, or maybe you've been trading for a while, what do? You put money into your brokerage account, you do all your studies and analysis, you find a strategy you think works for like 60, 70, or even 80%. Of course, there are people who, give you all this strategy. The next thing you do is you back test it, you do a bunch of things, tweaks and everything to make sure it's something that you can trade and you're comfortable with. The next thing that happens is on Monday morning, you wake up, you're fresh, you've studied, you have all these things in your head, and you just want to go into the market and make so much money and all of that. You get into your first trade, of course, you get profitable, you make, maybe you double your money, or you make 50% profit from the trade you entered, depending on your account size and the size of the money you're putting into a trade. You get into 2 or 3 more trades and you get successful, and then you get into one trade and it takes all the profit away from you. What a lot of traders do not do is this: they go into a trade thinking about just the money they're going to make from the market, full stop. They don't think about anything else. They only think, once I get into a trade, it has to go in the direction I'm predicting it to go. But the reality of things is 9 out of 10 times you get into a trade, you are automatically on a negative. And a lot of times the trade is going to go the opposite direction before it finally goes in the direction that you want it to go. What is the one thing that a lot of successful traders do that is different from people who are constantly failing in the stock market? So the one thing is the money management skills and risk to reward ratio. A lot of times what successful traders do is they get into a trade. Before they get into the trade, they think about, oh, I'm willing to risk $2,000. I can lose $2,000 to make 10 grand. And you're like, okay, that's not bad. That's a 5-to-1 ratio, which is decent. Or they might say, I'm willing to risk 2 grand to make another $2,000, which is a 1-to-1 ratio. Of course, a lot of people do that in the forex market, and it's you can make money from that. There are people in the stock market or the forex market that they make a living, they make a fortune from being right only 30% of the time. And those people are the ones who trade reversals. A lot of times reversals always go wrong. In most cases, you get into 10 trades, you're only going to be right maybe 3 or 4 times. But the thing to be able to be successful in trading that kind of strategy is your money management have to be on par. Sometimes people will tell you, oh, your entry, your exit, your this and that. Your entry and your exit, you're only going to be, making or losing an extra, maybe a couple $100 or a couple, it's not really going to make a huge difference. Of course, if your entry is like very, very wrong and very, very bad, of course, you're not going to make the amount of money you want. But if it's right within the range you want to enter, it shouldn't even, make any difference, to be honest. But if your risk to reward ratio and your money management, which people who trade reversals are very good at, if you can apply that money management to a trading strategy that already works 70% of the time, you are going to be a guaranteed success in the market. That is hands down. It's no debate. There's nothing no one wants to tell me. It's just the way it is. So how do you use your money management? First of all, if you have an account of $1,000, you're not going to enter the trade with a whole $1,000 because it's madness. So usually a lot of successful traders, of course, they have bigger accounts. They have accounts of 200,000 and $500,000, even $1 million accounts. So they can get into a trade with like 100 grand and be risking maybe $10,000 to be able to make like 30 grand or 50,000, and you see that and you think, oh wow, they must be entering everything in their account. No, they are not. So if you have an account, maybe let's say $1,000, for you to be able to get into a trade, you shouldn't get into a trade more than like $100 or $200. Now your risk to reward ratio, maybe you're trying to, your risk is going to be like, okay, for every trade I get in, I'm only going to risk maybe $40 or $50. Usually people say 2 to 5% of your account. That's what you should risk to be able to make whatever profit you want to make. So you have to go through all these things and see where you feel like you're very comfortable with you. Of course, you want to be very realistic. A lot of times people are always putting stupid tight stop losses. I see people go into the market and they're like, you want to risk $10 to be able to make 1,000. It's not going to happen, because first thing first is either your stop loss is so very, very close that you are going to be hit every single time. Like you get into 10 trades and 9 out of those 10 trades, your stop loss is going to be activated in most cases. So you have to be very real with yourself and see, maybe instead of entering multiple trades, focus on just one trade and put a reasonable amount of money. That instead of saying that I'm going to risk $10 for like 10 trades to be able to make $100 in each trade, maybe focus on just 2 trades and risk $50 to make like 200. You know what I mean? For 2 trades, I think is a more reasonable approach to take, because then you have a lot of cushion for your stop loss or your risk to reward ratio, and your money management is well on par. So money management is something that if you do not have in your trading plan already, it should be number 1 thing in your trading plan, because without that, no matter how good your strategy is, you will never ever be successful trading in any markets at all in the world. So that being said, get your money management all sorted out. If you do not have it, put it on there. My suggestion is 2 to 5% of your account. That's what you should risk per trade. Of course, that is just my personal preference. Everyone else have their own preferences and all that. You can look up a bunch of things, see what fits you as a person. What are you willing to risk? What do you think you can lose and you won't lose sleep over it? That is what you should do. Anyways, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new, of course, hit that subscribe button and leave the video a like, and if you've got any questions, you can leave them down in the comments below. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.